Now that is about e-commerce operator. Now look into question number 11. This question number 11 is related to TDS. TDS is applicable whenever the contract value of the supply exceeds 2,50,000. So, and the recipient is notified recipient. Who is a notified recipient? Central government or state government department, then local authority or union territory, and then PSUs and any body under government where the investment made by the government is any body or authority where the government investment is greater than or equals to 51%. So then it will be coming under notified recipient. So whenever I am making supply of goods or services to the notified recipient, so who is notified recipient? Central government or state government department, local authority, then public sector undertaking, authority or body where government has invested greater than or equals to 51%. So these people are the notified recipient when I am making supply of goods or service to them. So then they will be deducting TDS on the amount remitted at the rate of 2%. That they will pay to the government on my GSTIN, and I can take it as credit in my cash ledger and adjust it against my liability. But here TDS is applicable only when the contract value, the value of goods or service under the contract exceeds 2,50,000. Then only it will be applicable. Otherwise, TCS is not applicable, TDS is not applicable. And next, there are some more restrictions also in TDS. So, as and when we read this, we will try to understand. Number one, Finance Department of Government is making a payment of 3 lakhs to a supplier of printing and stationery. Contract value more than 2,50,000 and supply of goods to the recipient. So, who is notified? Therefore, TDS is applicable in this case. So, first case TDS is applicable. Then, Education Department of Government making payment of 5 lakh to a supplier of printed books and printed or illustrated postcards, where the payment for books is 2 lakhs and 3 lakh for printed or illustrated postcards. Actually, so 2 lakhs is exempted, books is exempted. Whenever there is exempted supplies, TDS, TCS not applicable. TDS, TCS applicable only when there are taxable supplies. So, when there are exempted supplies, TDS and TCS both are not applicable. TCS is applicable to an e-commerce operator. E-commerce operator will be deducting and they will be remitting in the name of the supplier, and the supplier will be taking it as credit in the cash ledger and adjusting against the liability. So, here exempted goods you take out, books are exempted. So, 3 lakhs is only taxable and the taxable value exceeds 2,50,000. So, then also TDS is applicable. Then, Finance Department of Government making payment of 1.5 lakh to a supplier of car rental service, 1.5 lakhs. So, the value does not exceed 2.5 lakhs. So, TDS is not applicable. TDS is not applicable. Then, number 4, Health Department of Government executed a contract with local supplier to supply medical grade oxygen of 2.6 lakhs, including GST, and is making full payment. So, in this case, so we need to take out GST while determining the contract value. So, what is the rate of GST? Say rate of GST is 12%. Rate of GST is 12%. So, then we need to take out the 12%. So, 2,60,000 into 100 by 112. How much? 2,32,142, which does not exceed 2,50,000. So, therefore, TDS is not applicable. Then, Municipal Corporation of Kolkata purchased a heavy generator from a supplier in Delhi. Now it is making payment of 5 lakhs and IGST 18%. So yes, so 5 lakhs exceeds 2,50,000, TDS is applicable. Okay, but the TDS is deducted under 2%. TDS is deducted at the rate of 2% of towards IGST. Whereas in the first, second, third, fourth cases, so within the state, TDS will be deducted 1% towards CGST, 1% towards SGST. What is the TCS rate? If it is interstate supply, 1% towards IGST. If it is intrastate supply, 0.5% CGST and 0.5% SGST. So, this is that question related to TDS. Any doubt in this here? TDS at the time of receipt of goods or payment. First to applicable, whether TDS is applicable or not, we will see contract value. and after seeing the contract value, if TDS is applicable, whatever is the payment made by the recipient, on that payment TDS is applicable. Okay. No, not ITC. It can be taken as credit in cash ledger, not as input tax credit. It can be taken as credit in cash ledger and adjusted against our liability. Okay. TDS rate, simple, TDS and TCS rates, that is, so if it is interstate supply, if it is interstate, the TDS rate is 2% towards IGST, 2% towards IGST, TCS is 1% towards IGST. Then if it is intrastate, so TDS 1% towards CGST, 1% towards CGST and 1% towards SGST. Whereas TCS 0.5% towards CGST and 0.5% towards SGST. Okay, so 0.5% towards CGST, 0.5% towards SGST. So this is the rates. Okay, then goods value 2.8 lakhs, payment of 10,000, TDS to be deducted on payment value 10,000. So first, as a value of goods involved in the contract exceeds 2,50,000, TDS is applicable, but GST will be payable on, yes, only on the payment that is remitted, that is 10,000. For TCS collection by e-commerce, is there any threshold? No threshold. No threshold. Okay. So threshold limit not applicable. So threshold limit in case of TDS, value of supply under the contract, value of supply under contract, value of supply under contract exceeds 2,50,000 excluding GST, whereas here it is not applicable, where TCS it is not applicable. Okay. And then any other difference if you see, so computed on what? Payment remitted to supplier, payment remitted to supplier, here value of taxable supply minus returns, whatever is the sales returns. So there will be some returns through e-commerce operator na, so that sales returns to be taken out. Okay. Now deducted by, who will be deducting TDS? Deducted by notified recipient. Who is that notified recipient? That notified recipient is central or state government, CG or SG department, then local authority, central or state government department, local authority. Then next we have PSU, public sector undertaking, then authority or board, where government invested greater than or equals to 51% in equity. Whereas who will be deducting here? E-commerce operator will be deducting TCS. Okay. Now what is the return that should be filed? Here GSTR 7, here GSTR 8. TDS will be GSTR 7, GSTR 8, same time limit by 10th of next month, along with payment of TDS. Here same by 10th of next month, along with payment of TCS, okay. Then next, if you see, so non-payment or short payment, what will happen? So that is penal consequences we will see. Penal consequences. First, delay in filing GSTR 7. What is the late fee for delay in filing GSTR 7? 25 rupees per day, subject to maximum 1000. This is under each act. Whereas delay in filing GSTR 8, what is the late fee? The late fee will be 100 rupees per day, subject to maximum 5000. This is under each act. Then next, interest at the rate of 18% per annum for the period of delay. Here also interest at the rate of 18% per annum for the period of delay. Interest is payable here. You understood? So all the TCS, TDS differences I gave you. Okay. And non-applicability. Having discussed this much, let's see non-applicability also. Non-applicability. What is that non-applicability? TDS is not applicable if supplier is unregistered, supplies are exempted, then next, intrastate supply in a state, but recipient in other state. What is this? Recipient in other state means, for example, it is intrastate supply in Tamil Nadu. Recipient is in Andhra Pradesh. Example, I am providing some architect services to Andhra Pradesh government for their building in Tamil Nadu. So now in this case, the place of supply will be Tamil Nadu, so intrastate supply. But the recipient is in Andhra Pradesh. They cannot deduct TDS. Why they cannot deduct TDS? Because they need to deduct TDS and remit 1% towards Tamil Nadu SGST that they cannot pay. So then it is not applicable. Here, supplier is unregistered, same. Supplier is unregistered. Supplies are exempted. Then, supply covered under 9 subsection 5. Supply under section 9 subsection 5, that is HAT. So then also TCS not applicable. And one more point, money not collected by e-commerce operator. So these are the cases TDS, TCS is not applicable. Okay. Less than 2.5 lakhs already we have seen here, no threshold. That's why I did not write. Okay. Clear here? So this you need to remember for the purpose of TDS and TCS. First rates, then threshold limit, and it is computed on what, and it is deducted by whom, and what is the returns that they need to file, and what are the penal consequences and non-applicability.